Chapter 13. Chelsea. How did you know I was there? I question when Asher all but slams the door, trapping me in a room I'm not quite sure I want to be in. Well, that's a lie. My body wants to be here, but my mind wants to run. He doesn't turn around right away. He stands at the door, his hands braced on the thick wood and his breathing hard and heavy. His very presence alone is so strong and demanding that the air around us feels alive. I wouldn't have been able to control the thick shudder that flies through my body if I'd tried.
Sway. D and sway.
He still doesn't turn around, and it takes just a second for the blinding anger to take over my body. Damn them.
Don't be pissed at them, sunshine. I'm damn happy they let me know where to find you. Tell me, did you like that asshole touching you?
He finally turns, and the look on his face causes me to take a giant step back. He stalks me, predator to his prey, and I keep matching him step for step until my ass hits the wall. My shoulders pressed back as much as I can, praying that the wall will just swallow me whole.
I'll tell you how it made me feel, walking in to see his fingers closed around your slim ankle, the look in his eyes when he was lost in whatever fantasy held him captive. To see another man with his hands on my woman? Do you want to know how I felt? Look at me, he demands. I felt a depth of wrath I didn't know existed. A red-hazed fury chanting at me to kill. I wanted to rip his arms off his body and beat him with the hands that dared to touch what is mine.
I gasp. Of course I do. My words have completely left me. He just looks at me, those beautiful eyes that show so much of his emotions just taking me in. The emotions crossing his face go from angry to blazing with desire in a matter of seconds. And before I can even get a word out, his lips are feasting on mine. This kiss blows anything we've ever shared out of the water. This is a hungry possession of my soul, a claiming of my body, and I love every second of it. My hands, having a mind of their own, pull at the fabric of his shirt, moving it up his body, desperate for the feel of his skin against my fingertips. He tears his mouth from mine, panting with exertion, and rips the shirt over his head. I watch as the fabric sails over his shoulder and lands on the lamp hanging over the dining room table. When my eyes move back to his, they're still scorching my skin with the intensity of his need. His need for me. Ash, we need to talk, I try.
No, what we need to do is stop talking. Talking doesn't help shit, Chelsea.
His words are pushed past his lips, still swollen from our kiss, just seconds before he crashes his mouth back to mine. My body's just as treacherous as it was the first time. The ball of desire starts to tingle through my system, sorting all common sense with just the feel of his skin against my hands. Those hands are currently running up his back, digging my nails in when I feel his strong arms reach my ass before lifting me up. We stand there, lips battling each other for power, hips slowly rocking together, and our breathing floating through the room. It isn't until I feel his hands start to lift my shirt off my body that I feel all sense of desire run from my body and replace my veins with ice-cold panic. The hands that were just loving every inch they could touch suddenly feel like they're burning. I rip my mouth from his and start to push him away with every ounce of strength I have. Oh, God, Asher, you have to stop. He leans back enough to give me some space, but still keeps his hips pressed tightly against mine. Please, move, I beg. Something in my eyes must have convinced him just how close to snapping in two I am, because he helps me gain my footing and steps back.
I don't like the look you're giving me, Chelsea. I understand if this is too much or too quick, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go sit on my fucking thumb so you can dance around this anymore.
He paces a few steps, looking at me between running his hands through his hair, his eyes violent. The tension climbs higher with every second I take to try and work my thoughts out. He goes to speak, but the ringing of his cell takes over the tense silence.
Fuck.
He looks at the screen, throwing out a few more expletives.
This isn't done. Not by a long shot. Shit. Sit down and I'll be right back. Then we can talk.
He makes it down the hallway, stepping into what I remember as the guest room, and I don't even give him a second to shut the door before I grab my discarded purse and bolt out the door. This conversation is definitely long overdue, but it will be on my turf. Plus, I have 2 meddling queens to take care of first. Chapter 14. Chelsea. After having Joe call me a taxi, I make the short drive to Sway's salon. It does not do one damn thing to calm me down. I can't believe that the one person who's been telling me that I need to move on, get back on the horse, live a little, is the same person who ratted me out to the one person I know could take my heart and smash it into a million little pieces. The attraction between Asher and me has always been too much, burning too bright. And as much as I love that about us, I also fear it. Until he knows about the baby, I won't feel right acting on any of that, not to mention that after he finds out, he probably won't like me enough to want to start anything. The last thing I want to do is cloud his loyalties with sex. When I tell him, and I will tell him, I want him to be able to walk away without the thought of whatever we have between us hanging thick. But I would be lying if I didn't admit that a little part of me hopes that he still feels the same about me, that he won't want me just because of what my baby can give him. A family, not with me, no, but with a part of his brother that will live on. I know I shouldn't worry about that, but I'm only human, and it doesn't help that I've been living in hormone overdrive for the last few months. Sway sees me about 2 seconds before I fling the door open and stomp over to where he's working on Dee's hair. I say working loosely, because he's really just sitting there brushing her brunette hair between his flamboyant arm-waving. He smiles brightly, completely unconcerned with a pissed-off pregnant woman marching through his salon. I wonder how it's going, Dee giggles, clearly having not noticed me yet. Dee, darling, shut up, he whispers with a smirk. Do you think he threw her over his shoulder and dragged her off to his cave? I bet he did. He looks like a dragger. She snickers for a second before her eyes lift and they meet mine. Brown to brown, shock to anger. If I didn't love her so much and know deep down in my heart that she meant well, I would kill her, or maybe just pelt her in the head with my damn open-toed shoes. I'll tell you how he acted, you idiot. He marched in there and saved me from the toe-sucking maniac, and then he dragged me off because, let me tell you, he is a good dragger. Hey, Chelsea. She stalls. Yeah, hey, me. Was this the plan to begin with? Just play with me until you could set Asher up to go all crazy man on me? Sweetheart, it really was for the best, Sway interjects, not even bothering to look guilty. No, not Sway. Sway has a reason for everything he does. The best for what exactly? I demand. And how do you even know? I hiss. Sweet little ray of sunshine, I cringe at the use of Asher's nickname for me. You've been sitting on your gorgeous ass for months, not willing to move forward. You've closed yourself off from everything except Dee, work, and the baby. I've seen the two of you, and trust me, honey, Sway knows attraction when he sees it. What you and that hunky man have is something combustible. You needed a nudge. You got one. Dee here was just the helper bee. She buzzed right on over to my ear and asked for my help. Buzz, buzz. The helper bee, I repeat, not even shocked that Dee has filled him in on everything. That's what I said. I told her we need some men that would make you realize just what's been staring you in the face. Make you move the heck on, darling. You're joking, right? Jesus, how stupid have I been? Afraid not, baby. He leans closer and pets my hair. Literally pets me, smiling his beautiful smile and causing some of my anger to fall away. You? I question Dee. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chelsea, I really am. But you weren't going to act on it. Hell, I don't even think you had plans to ever tell him about the baby. Wrong or right? Now it looks like you're not going to have a chance because shit is about to get really real. I can't even be mad at them. They're right. I've been dragging my feet, letting the fear of the unknown and the very real attraction between Asher and myself cloud what is really important right now. The baby. Because when push comes to shove, whatever is or isn't between me and Asher is second to my sweet baby. You're right, I'm not mad. Well, maybe a little mad for Phil, but I know you two are coming from the right place. Dee goes to say something, but stops quickly, snapping her mouth shut, her eyes widening. Sway just bounces on the balls of his heels and claps his hands. I'm actually pretty sure he just squealed.
Oh, Dee, look, it's happening.
What's happening? I inquire a second before it happens. The front door to Sway's salon bursts open so hard that it snaps on its hinges. I know it's coming before I even hear my name being growled. Yes, growled.
Chelsea!
The sound erupts through the room. My shoulders stiffen, but I turn and meet his eyes.
Get over here.
I look back at Dee and Sway, hoping for some help, but I only get blazing smiles and sharp nods. Lovely. Of course the matchmaker duo isn't going to help me.
Now, Chelsea,
he declares again. I obviously am not moving at a pace quick enough to placate his request, because he takes the 10 steps to me from the door in 5 and lightly grabs my wrist, pulling me forward and out the door, proving Dee's theory right. He is a wonderful dragger. The whole ride back to the apartments is maddening. I can tell he's pissed by the white-knuckle grip he has on the steering wheel. His jaw keeps flexing with the control he is so understandably trying to master. It was a bitch move for me to run, I know that, and I feel terrible about it. I could blame it on my hormones, my muddled mind, or even the drunken way his kisses leave me. When it comes down to it, though, I ran because I was afraid. The walk past Joe is nice and embarrassing this time. Before Asher can stop me, I press the gold button for the 17th floor. Turning to address him, I do my best to give him a shaky smile. I need to do this in my house. I was wrong to run from you, and I'm sorry. We're going to talk, but I need it to be in my space. He gives me a tight nod before crossing his thick arms over his chest. I'm sorry, Ash. I really am. He studies me for a few seconds, opening his mouth to speak a few times before snapping it shut and shaking his head at me. His eyes close for a second, and when they open again and he looks at me with complete understanding, I'm taken aback. So easily he's able to drop that anger?
I won't even pretend to understand what's going through your head right now. You want to talk before I make you mine? That's what you need to do before I can finally make you mine? Well then, baby, that's what will happen. Just enough with the running, okay?
Let's see if he feels the same way when we're done talking. I nod and wait for the elevator to stop at my floor. Here goes nothing. Do you want anything to drink? I think I have some beer. I wring my hands together, trying to calm my anxiety.
I don't want anything to drink, Chelsea,
he states from his post, leaning against the kitchen island. Okay. Do you want something to eat? I can make something really quick.
I don't want anything to eat, Chelsea.
Okay, do you...
I don't want anything to eat or drink. I don't need to sit and relax or watch a movie. I don't have anywhere I need to be or anyone I would rather be with. I'm good, sunshine. I'm here. Let's talk.
Well, I guess he's onto my stalling. Right, let's go sit, please. I need to sit. He raises a brow but follows me to the living room. I sit in my favorite chair, the one chair that I can curl up on, and it's so fluffy that I sink. It gives me a sense of peace. I know it sounds ridiculous that a chair can give me some peace, but when you feel as alone as I do sometimes, just feeling the comforting pressure of something holding you can mean a lot. Asher walks close to me, his feet bumping into mine. He leans down and scoops me up before he sinks his own body into my chair. He then pulls me down onto his lap and arranges my body so that I'm sitting sideways across his strong thighs. Without knowing where to put my hands, I just let them fall to my lap, where I continue to wring my fingers together.
Talk, sunshine.
I jump at his demand and feel his arms constrict around me.
I've told you before, you have nothing, not one damn thing, to be afraid of when you're with me. Why do you keep acting like I'm going to hurt you?
I take a deep, much-needed breath. Because, Asher, because you hold the power to crush me, just like I hold the power to do the same to you.
The last thing I want is to hurt you in any way.
he argues. I know that, and I feel the same way.
So what exactly is the problem? I know we have a lot to learn about each other, Chelsea, but you've been there for me since Coop died. There when everyone else was getting frustrated because I didn't know how to let him go. You've been there when I needed you the most. There's plenty of time for us to learn every little thing about each other. But what I already know is enough for me to know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you belong to me.
He lightly grabs my chin with his firm hand, turning my head and giving me a sweet kiss against my lips, before resting his forehead against mine. This is so hard, I sigh. So damn hard.
So just say it. What is it so big that you'd rather go out with douchebags than admit that what we have is worth something to you? You melted for me, Chels. Melted.
Give me a second, okay? I just need to figure out how to explain everything. I weigh my options before I realize that there is no easy way to drop all of this on him, so I just start at the beginning. You know about everything that went down with Dee, right? Last year when she almost died? He nods but doesn't say anything and lets me set the pace. I was the one who found her. Did you know that? He shakes his head, still remaining silent. That did something to me, Ash. I don't know how to explain it. Finding her, the one person I've had in my life who means so much. A sister without the blood relations. Seeing her that close to death made me panic. I really think that I was in some sort of shock. I don't know. It doesn't make what I did right, but when comfort was offered, I took it. One night, one time, but I needed to feel alive. I needed it. I swallow the growing lump in my throat and look into his eyes, needing to know how he's going to handle this. I slept with Coop, I whisper so lightly that, if it weren't for his arms around me and my face inches from his own, I don't think he would have heard me. His eyes flash and his arms go solid, but he doesn't speak. I wait for him to say something, anything, for a solid minute.
You slept with my brother?
He asks. I can't tell if he's upset or just processing it. His tone sounds neutral, but his eyes are telling me another story. I did. It's not something I'm proud of. I used him, Ash. Well, I guess in a way, we used each other. It happened. And while I can admit it was a mistake, I don't regret it.
You don't fucking regret it?
He questions, this time not masking his anger. I don't. I straighten my back and get ready for the toughest part.
Clear something up for me, Chelsea. While I've been thinking we've been starting something, have I been some second-place consolation prize for my brother? Because let me tell you, I've been there, done that, and got the fucking t-shirt. That isn't something I ever want to experience again.
I frown, trying to make sense of his exclamation. He reaches up and lightly caresses the wrinkle between my brow before he realizes what he's doing and drops his hand, his face looking confused and pained. I didn't then, nor do I now, have feelings like that for your brother. I will always respect and admire his strength and bravery, but as far as any romantic feelings, no. The way I feel about you, that's all for you.
Then please explain to me how you could not regret sleeping with him.
Here it goes. The moment that could very well rip any chance at a relationship between Asher and me apart. Or the one that solidifies the bond we felt tugging us together since day one. Almost a month after that one night, maybe closer to a month and a half, I can't remember. It took me a while to even admit it to myself, to believe that my selfish need to feel alive had succeeded in proving that, in driving it home in one tiny plus sign.
I'm not following you here, Chelsea.
I'm pregnant, Asher. I'm pregnant with Coop's baby. He didn't know because he didn't know because of everything that happened. And before I could tell him, it was too late.
What?
I keep looking into his stunning blue eyes, which are now a beautiful light navy color, showing me with crystal clear clarity just how much pain my admission is bringing him. I'm so sorry. I'm so damn sorry. I wanted to tell you, and I had every intention in telling you, but there never seemed to be a good time. Even to my own ears it sounds like shit. I should have told him the second I met him.
You fucking think?
He yells. He moves, standing up from the chair with me still locked in his arms, and sets me back down before pacing away from me, getting as far from me as he can.
Jesus Christ! You're pregnant with Coop's baby? No good time, he mutters, continuing his pacing. How could you keep this from me, Chelsea? Were you ever really going to tell me? He shouts.
Of course I was, I defend.
Yeah? When? When I fell for the little games you've been playing with my mind? When you went into labor? Shit. How are you going to hide a belly? Because let me tell you, I never would have guessed you're pregnant now.
I know he's hurt. He's hurt, and I did this to him, to us. I stand as straight as I can, trying my best to keep it together and let him have this. Let him get it out. I can only hope that, when he's done, he can find it in his heart to forgive me. I just haven't decided if I deserve his forgiveness.
I can't even look at you right now without my anger getting the best of me. This isn't done, but right now, I need to get the fuck away from you before I say something I'm going to regret.
I nod, not trusting myself to speak with the tears burning my nose and the lump climbing back up my throat. I'm seconds away from completely falling apart. He looks at me for a few more seconds before turning on his heels and storming through the front door. I hear it slam, and it's all I need for my body to give the emotions permission to burst forth. I crumble to the ground and cry. I cry for everything I've stupidly done. I cry for Coop, our baby, Asher, and every single unknown second of my future. I cry until I have nothing left. It's only then that I notice the sun that was bright in the sky is now gone, and my apartment is pitch black. I don't even stop to turn on the lights as I make my way down the hall, stripping down to my bra and panties on the way and curling beneath the thick blankets on my bed. I wish that the smooth fabric were the arms I so desperately need to be holding me tight.
Chapter 15. Asher.
You senseless little fuck,
The voice slurs.
Where is your stupid fucking brother?
It asks again. I don't want to open my eyes. I know there is no reasoning with her when she gets like this. I keep praying one day that she just won't come home, that she will crash her car into a tree, pick up the wrong man for an easy lay, and end up dead like other stupid chicks on the TV. That she might overdose on one of the millions of pills she drops down her throat. Anything but deal with her when she's like this. I can't just leave because Coop needs to finish high school. And with just 2 years to go before his graduation, I'll suffer through my egg donor shit if it means we can graduate and leave, never looking back. We've had it planned since the day I turned 16. We would wait until he finishes high school, and then get the hell out of the small town in Texas we've grown up in. Get the hell out and make a life for ourselves that we can be proud of. We're joining the Marines. And we're going to be free of this vile bitch. Coop's still small for his age. I started growing and never stopped until I towered over my mother, well over 6 feet. Coop's body, having always lacked the right nutrition to help him grow, seems to be taking its time. I could care less if my brother stays scrawny for the rest of his life. Doesn't matter to me. The one thing that has changed is his timid nature. He's finally starting to come into his own. And the chicks around town don't care if he's not the tallest, bulkiest, or most popular. Coop started channeling his hurt and pain into humor, and the chicks love it.
Well, where is that piece of shit?
Finally, having had enough of her shrieking, I peel my eyes open and take her in. I'm sure she was attractive when she was younger. Her eyes, which might have been bright and vibrant blue, are now dull and dirty, like bathwater after you're done bathing. Her skin might have been smooth and youthful at one point, but now it has a disgusting gray tint to it. Her arms, stretched out at her sides, show the clearly visible track lines. Her body is nothing but a tiny mass of skin and bones. Worthless. Disgusting. The reason I've believed for as long as I can remember that women will do nothing but hurt you. I fucking hate her.
You answer me, you stupid shit. I knew you were a dumb fuck. Knew it before you were even born. Your brother is just as dumb as you. Bet that's why your piece of shit father ran off. Couldn't stand to face that he couldn't make real men.
I clenched my fist, wishing, not for the first time, that I believed in hitting women. Regardless of how much I hate her, I still won't raise my fist to her.
Should have terminated you two bastards when I had the chance,
she grumbles under her breath.
I hate you.
I turn my head sharply to the left when I hear Coop's voice cracking with puberty, shaking with vehemence.
I hate you so much, he repeats.
I should stop him, tell him to go back to bed and deal with the beating I'm sure will follow this drunken rage of hers.
Well, isn't that sweet, bastard boy? I hate you right fucking back.
She starts to move. Actually, she starts to tip forward in what I assume is a move to get to Coop, but I step in her path. I refuse to let her take this shit out on him. My body is bigger. I can take it.
Move, Ash. I need her to know I mean it.
He sounds different. Not like he normally does when he hides during her rages. You sure? I ask, knowing that, even if I let him have this, I could still be here to make sure she doesn't lay one of her repulsive fingers on him.
I'm sure.
Okay, but I'm right here.
Would you two fucking retards stop whispering? I'm right in front of you. If you're finally going to let those little boy balls drop and grow up there, then by all means, let me have it.
She fumes. Coop steps up to stand next to me. He comes up to my shoulders, but right now, in this moment, I feel like he's 10 feet tall. I couldn't be more proud of him, for standing up for himself and for standing up to this bitch of a mother we're stuck with.
I've hated you for so many years. You're a terrible person and an even worse mom. I wish you would just die, and I will always remember what happens when you try to love a girl because I loved you once. Even when you wouldn't feed us and would beat us, wouldn't bathe us or buy us clothes that fit. Even when you would lock us in that closet just because we dared to be alive. I will never let a woman get close to me because I know she would probably end up like you. And I know I will never ever have any kids because with my luck, something of you would be in them. I hate you.
His breathing is fast, too fast, and I know he's close to freaking out because never has he ever talked back to her. And if I'm honest, that was the most I've ever heard him say to our mother in almost 10 years. She looks confused. Maybe she's confused because she didn't know he could talk, but she just stands there for the longest time, long enough for Coop to calm down. I look over and make sure he's okay, but before I could make eye contact, I hear her cackle. She starts laughing so hard that she's bent over, holding her stomach.
Oh, you stupid little shit. Mark my words, Zachariah Cooper. One of these days you're gonna knock a bitch up just like your father did to me. That kid is going to be a little shit just like you, and maybe if you're lucky she'll kill that bastard before it's ever born. Oh, yes, you stupid boy. It will happen because there's too much of your stupid daddy in you to keep that shit in your pants. Not only that, but I hope you get some stupid fuck out of it. Serves you right for poisoning my life for so long.
And with that, she stumbles out of the house and into her car and squeals her tires on her way out of the driveway. It takes me longer to calm down than ever before. My deep loathing for that woman has grown even stronger.
She's wrong, Ash. If I ever have a baby, even an accident like we are, I'll make sure that baby doesn't have a life like ours.
Yeah, Coop, I bet you're right. That night, we both sleep facing each other, his hand firmly placed in mine, our foreheads resting together, and I pray that he's right. That if we ever do have kids, they're nothing like her, and they know what love feels like. If that's even possible.
Chapter 16, Chelsea. The first thing I notice when I start to wake up is how warm I am. I've always been warm-natured, which is why I sleep in as little as possible. I try to wake my mind up enough to take stock in my body. My heavy breasts feel constricted from evidently falling asleep with my bra. At least I remembered to take my socks off. Hot feet at night are the worst. The thought of my feet, or more specifically my toes, is what brings it all back. Phil, his creepy toe fetish, Asher, running, Asher and the baby. It all slams into my mind so powerfully that I'm left shaking and crying again. Damn hormones. Even though I'm legitimately upset, I don't think I would be this much of a mess if I weren't a walking, talking basket case of hormone overload. The feeling of something tightening against my stomach makes me calm down long enough to make sure the baby is okay. I reach down and scream when I feel warm skin, coarse hair, and an arm that does not belong to me. What the hell? I start panicking, thinking about how I can get out of here safely. How did someone get in? Oh my God. What if it's Phil? Did he already suck my toes while I was sleeping? I'm going to die, and Phil's going to cut off my toes.
Calm down, sunshine. I can hear you thinking over here. When I hear Asher's deep mumble and feel his words vibrate against my back, I scream again, and then naturally start crying all over again. Basket case. He tightens his grip, his huge hand palming my stomach in such a way that it renders me speechless. His fingers almost span my entire stomach. They twitch and caress, explore the bump I've been falling in love with more and more each day. I calm myself down, my breathing still thick, but the feel of him, the safety of being in his arms, gives me the needed strength to pull my crybaby act together. How did you get in? I question. The last thing I remember after pulling myself off the floor was going straight to bed. I must have been exhausted to not feel or hear him climb in behind me. He hums against my neck. His nose running along the sensitive skin causes goosebumps to break out against my flesh. Ash! I whine desperately. My body, my very horny body, has been in hibernation mode for so long that just the feeling of his breathing against my neck and his hand holding my stomach makes me feel like I could come on command. The door was unlocked, which was a gross oversight on my end, but I was lost in my own shit. When I got my head together, I came back to make sure you were okay and found the door open. He trails off, leaving us both lying there, wondering what's next. I'm sorry, Ash, I sigh into the silence, breaking the fragile stillness around us. He doesn't say anything for a few beats, leaving me teetering on the edge of fear that I've ruined what trust we had in each other.
I know you are, sunshine. I know. It doesn't make it easy, and I'm sorry I blew up on you. You were right in your anger. I shouldn't have kept it from you, but Ash, you were in such a bad way for a while after Coop, and even though it doesn't make what I did okay, I was scared to tell you, afraid you would think the worst of me. It makes none of it okay, but that's where I was coming from. You were right, he utters, his voice thick with emotion. I wouldn't have heard you even if you were standing in front of me with a blowhorn. I've been asking myself for months, why? Why him? What was the point? Why take him from this world? He has always been the better soul out of the two of us, and knowing that he died without me there to protect him, yeah, I wouldn't have heard you. How can you think that? The better soul? You really believe that, don't you? I turn in his arms, reaching up to cup his cheeks in my hands. I'll agree with you that Coop was an incredible man. He was there for me when I needed someone to help me feel strong again. He was brave, selfless, and oh so loved, but Ash, do you not see that you are just as incredible? I see you, Ash. I see the man who has been so lost, but fighting with every breath he has to survive. I don't know a lot about your past, but I know enough to know that you're a fighter. You and Coop, you might as well have been built from the same mold because the same fearlessness that he possessed each and every day was obviously learned from his big brother. He looks at me, his heart-stopping eyes fighting the emotion that is raging within, so noticeably stuck in the grief that consumes him. We didn't have a good childhood. There's a lot of darkness there, a lot of pain. It's taken me a long time to be able to push all of that past under the rug. I can't explain my issues any other way but to tell you about how we grew up and why hearing that Coop left behind a piece of himself affected me the way it did. He takes a deep breath and composes his thoughts. I can practically see the wheels turning. I rub my thumbs along his jaw and wait.
Our mother raised us. Our dad ran out as quickly as he could, and honestly, I don't blame him. She was, by definition, a monster. We didn't have food half the time. The power and water were cut off more than they were ever connected. Clothing was always hand-me-downs, 2 sizes too small. From the earliest that I can remember, I was raising Coop. He's been more than a brother to me for my whole life, and losing him cut me deep. Still cuts me deep. I can't tell you how many times I stepped in to make sure I was his shield, his protection against life. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine I would lose him, having not been able to protect him. I so desperately want to cut in, to yell and scream that he isn't right. It isn't his fault that Coop died. He didn't pull the trigger. He never wanted kids, ever. But I know if he were still here, he would love this baby like no other. He always had the ability to see the positive in everything. So I guess my point is that, even though he never wanted children, he would have been there. He would have been the best damn father, Chelsea. And I know I can't replace him. No one can replace him.
He trails off, clearing his throat a few times before he looks up. The pain in his eyes makes me flinch.
I know we've been dancing around this attraction between us, this chemistry. Hell, I've wanted you since the day I met you. I won't lie to you, Sunshine. I want to be a part of this baby's life. I want to be able to show him or her the love that Coop would want. But I don't want you to think that I'm saying that just because of what is between us. As far as I'm concerned, your carrying Coop's baby is a blessing. I could never even begin to repay you for, but being in your life, making you mine, would be the icing on the cake. I'll love this baby regardless of whether you want me in your life or not, but God, baby, please let me be the man you both deserve.
I was crying softly before, broken for the little boys who were so lost. But now I'm full out sobbing, gasping for air, choking on my spit and blubbering out my response. I know he doesn't understand my words. Even to my own ears, they're nothing but gibberish. I wipe at my face, wishing I weren't making such a mess of this. Hold on, I weep, untangling myself from his arms and the sheets, running to the bathroom to clean myself up. His arms close around me while I'm bent over the sink, washing my face. His lips climb up my exposed back, kissing each bump of my spine. His lips blaze a trail of fire until he reaches the base of my neck, stopping to breathe me in. His strong arms wrap protectively around my body. I straighten and meet his eyes in the mirror. My head comes to his collarbone, his striking blue eyes gazing into my brown ones, begging me silently to let him in. I break our connection and trace the line of his arms to where they are lying against my stomach, his tan hands standing out against my fair skin. He cradles my bump, my child, within his strong hold. He holds me within his strong arms, and it's painfully clear to me that if I don't act on this, don't let him in and his strength in, I will live each day regretting it. I turn, bringing my hands up his arms and curl them around his neck. His hands move from my stomach when I turn and lie heavily against my hips, his fingers digging in when I move to stand on my toes, gaining as much height as I can to reach his lips. I need you, I whisper against his lips, loving the way his eyes flash, and his face goes soft seconds before he claims my mouth. And with that kiss, that claiming of my soul, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm forever ruined for anyone else. With that one kiss, that one moment in time, it feels as if I've come home.
Chapter 17. Asher. Her lips are the drug I've been craving. The feel of her body against mine, the heat that is coming off her smooth skin when I trail my hands up her back, drags me under, and it's like everything around us just vanishes. I've never, in all of my 33 years, known a feeling like this before. I'm a complete stranger when it comes to relationships. The one time I tried was a disaster of epic proportions. But every instinct I have is telling me to hold on to this woman and never let go. I knew before that I needed to make her mine, but right now, in this moment, I know I could never let her go. As corny as it sounds, as much of a pussy as it makes me, I need her. She moans, and it's like I've been shocked. My balls tighten and my cock throbs. Fuck me, I can smell how much she wants me. I pull back, a feral smile curling my lips when I see how dazed she is by our kiss. Her skin is flushed, her breathing is rushed, and her eyes are barely open. She just stands there and continues to play with my hair. Her fingers run through the longer pieces I've been too lazy to go get shaped up at the barber, and I make a note to keep it longer if she loves it. Fuck, it feels good. Sunshine, I murmur. Once I take you, make you mine, I won't ever let you go. You're mine, baby. This body, this heart, and damn sure this pussy. I won't take you until I know you understand what I'm saying to you.
I thought you didn't do relationships, Ash, she mocks.
I didn't. You're a game changer.
So, what are you saying? I'm your girlfriend?
Her thin brows crease, and I bring my hand off her hip and slowly rub the skin above her nose that has one hell of a cute wrinkle. Call it whatever you need to, Chelsea, but just know you are mine. She's silent for a while. I move my hand and curl it around her neck, adding a little pressure so she knows to come closer. My lips kiss her forehead, her eyes, her nose, and finally her mouth.
I won't share you. I wouldn't be able to handle seeing you with one of those sluts, Asher. If we're going to do this, I need to know that if I give myself to you, you're doing the same. I need complete trust and honesty.
And it's yours, I whisper against her lips. Her eyes flash, the need that I feel burning through my body shining through those remarkable eyes of hers. This close, I can see the amber color that usually only shows when she's mad overtaking the brown. Burning for me. There's no turning back, I reiterate.
One-way street, baby.
I close my eyes and let that word, that endearment, wash over me. I've never had that. My mother damn sure never called us anything other than shit, and the only other attempt at a relationship never produced anything like that. It's almost pathetic how one little word can bring me to my knees, but her hushed baby does. I open my eyes and move the distance needed to feel her lips against mine again. She opens immediately, and our tongues roll and dance together. Even though every part of my body is screaming to take her heart, to claim her now, I want to savor every second of this. Running my hands down her back, into her panties, and taking her firm ass in my hands as my cock straining the fabric of my boxer briefs. I haven't been this hard since I saw my first Playboy and wondered where the hell they had been my whole life. I fucking crave her. Digging my fingers in the tight muscles, I lift and groan when she wraps her legs around my waist. The feeling of her heat against me makes me feel like I'm seconds from coming. I don't break the kiss for a second, walking blindly towards the bed. Reaching back, I deftly unsnap her bra, easing each strap down her arms before pulling and throwing it over my shoulder. I slowly lower her down. Her back hits the mattress, but I quickly move my hands from her ass to her hips, letting her know not to move her long legs from my waist. Words aren't needed, not when our bodies are screaming at each other. Taking my time, I run my fingertips from shoulder to shoulder, tracing the delicate line of her collarbone. I trail my path with my eyes, lazily drinking her in. My hand moves from her collarbone down the center of her chest before running along the curve of her heavy breast. Her tits are perfect, heavy and firm. Pink nipples beg for my lips and my teeth. I bring my other hand into play and cup her in my hands, rubbing my thumb across each nipple and loving every second of her eyes widening before she bites her lip and shudders. I move my hands farther down, the goosebumps following their path. Her chest is starting to heave with her effort at keeping still. I can tell how badly she wants me. The evidence is soaking through both of our underwear.
I want you so badly, she moans.
Shh. I have no words for her, no reassurances that I'll move quicker because I don't want to. I plan on taking my time with her. When my hands get to her stomach, the stomach that holds my family, I'm momentarily overcome with emotion. I've never been one to believe in second chances, that something bigger at play with my life, but knowing that this baby is a part of my brother makes me want to weep. I don't think that Chelsea will ever know what this means to me. Your stomach is so small, I marvel. Instantly fear takes the place of awe. Is everything okay? Shouldn't you be bigger? She giggles a little, the sound once again going straight to my dick.
Everything's fine. I'm measuring small, but the doctors say that will change as the weeks pass. I had a rough start to my pregnancy. I was sick a lot.
I nod, but really, I don't understand. I make a mental note to ask her and the doctor about it later. My hands continue to caress the smooth skin of her slightly rounded bump. I could stand here for hours, but the legs around my hips squeeze me tighter.
I wasn't kidding, Ash. I need you. It's been so long, she whimpers.
When I roll my hips against her wet core, she cries out, and I could pump my fist in the air when I realize how receptive she is to me. I motion for her to release my hips, moving my hand to hers and pulling her to the edge of the bed before I kneel between her spread legs. The smell of her arousal is intoxicating. I can't wait to have my mouth all over your pussy, drinking every drop you come for me. She moans. I run my fingers over her panties, loving the wetness that is showing through the thin gray fabric. Leaning forward, I drag my nose along the seam, turning my head dizzy from her scent and biting her inner thigh lightly. When I move back, I can see the outline of her lips, and I'm suddenly starving. Hooking my fingers around the fabric, I all but rip them from her body. The sight that's waiting for me has me rethinking this whole going slow nonsense. I don't waste a second. My tongue comes out and licks her cunt. Her hands fly up and grab onto my head, begging without words to give her what she needs. I feast on her roughly. My tongue, lips, and teeth bring her to the edge before pulling back and kissing her legs. I trail my lips along each thigh, wiping her wetness that soaks my face as I go so I can lick it off again. Her whimpering is getting louder, and I'm not even touching that sweet pussy. It's so wet from just my mouth that I know she's ready for me, but fuck me, I must be a masochist, because the only thing I can think of is getting more of her sweetness on my tongue. Bringing my lips back to her pussy, I take 2 fingers, push them deep into her wetness, and lightly bite against her clit. Just like that, she screams my name, digs her hands into my hair, and pulls me closer to her body while she rides out her orgasm. She's so fucking tight that I worry I'll hurt her when I finally sink into her body. I give her the time she needs to come back to me. Her moans are slowing down, her body is starting to stop its shaking, and her legs have let go of the death grip she had on my head. I push my fingers slowly in and out of her soaked pussy, the proof of her desire running down my hand. Slowly removing my hand earns me a cry and some incoherent gibberish about staying inside her. Oh, don't you worry, sunshine, I'll be inside you again. Her eyes flare when she sees me go to push my boxer briefs down. I give her a second to push up onto her elbows, wagging my eyebrows as I pull down one side slightly. You want something?
God, yes, she pants. Please.
Her eyes never leave my body. I push the remaining clothing from my body and stand, letting her eyes take in every inch of me. She licks her lips, and I know it's time. Scoot back, baby, I request, and she pushes back quietly, keeping her legs spread wide. After climbing back onto the bed, I brace myself on my left arm and move in to place a deep kiss to her swollen lips while I rub the head of my cock against her pussy. The feeling of her wetness and heat has me seeing stars. I hiss when I start to sink into her tight pussy, the feeling almost too much. Her nails dig into my shoulders, and she rips her lips from mine to moan a loud sound dripping with her arousal. You feel so fucking good. So tight. God damn, baby. I pant, groan, and grind my teeth together as each inch of my cock becomes surrounded by her. Her walls clamped down, more wetness rolling from her body and soaking my balls. Fuck! When her legs lift up and lock around my body, causing me to sink even deeper, I know that slow is beyond my capabilities. I start moving, pressing into her body so deep that I know she'll feel me tomorrow. We continue this dance, my body taking hers, claiming her as mine. Every second inside her body has my chest ripping open with the swelling of my heart. Yeah, this is fucking heaven on earth.
Oh God.
She's close. I can tell by how her walls lock onto my cock and almost refuse to let me go each time I bottom out. The sounds of her wetness and my balls slapping against her ass are the only things I can hear. The roaring of my blood burning through my veins is almost loud enough that I miss it. That fucking glorious sound of her screaming my name. And with just a few more rapid thrusts home, I shoot off, coating her walls with my cum. Making her mine.
Chapter 18, Chelsea. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit. Oh my God. My body still feels like it's floating, and if it weren't for the slight weight of Asher against my right leg and arm, I would have thought that I just dreamt that. I can feel him leaking out of my body, and I shudder slightly. My legs feel weak, as if I've just run 10 miles. My pussy is still clenching with aftershocks. My lips feel swollen, and my heart feels whole. Oh my God. What now?
Stop thinking, sunshine.
Asher mumbles at my side. I turn my head and drink him in. His eyes are closed, and the hardness I've grown used to seeing across his face has vanished. I'm not, I weakly defend.
Babe, I can feel you thinking. Your whole body gets tight, and you all but stop breathing. That was fucking mind-blowing, and as much as I would love to take credit for you getting all breathless, I know your mind is working overtime right now.
I'm sorry? I jump when his deep laughter shakes his body. The sound is so foreign to me, but so beautiful. I don't think I've ever heard him laugh so carefree before.
I'm not sure hearing you say you're sorry after I just fucked you is helping my ego here. Should I be glad you didn't laugh when you saw my cock for the first time?
His body is still shaking with silent laughter, and I can feel my face flush with embarrassment. Oh, God, I didn't mean it like that, you jerk, I chuckle. I doubt you need any help with your ego, Ash. Something tells me you know just how mind-blowing sex with you is.
Mind-blowing, huh?
He leans up, his hand coming up and curling around my neck in the possessive way I'm coming to love. He sobers and looks down at my stomach.
I didn't hurt you, did I?
I turn on my side, his hold on my neck flexing as I move. No, baby, I whisper, enjoying the way his face gets softer when I call him that. Why do you do that? He gets this adorably cute, confused look before his face darkens, and I instantly question if I should have kept my verbal vomit in check. Way to ruin the moment, Chelsea.
Do what?
He asks. But I know he knows what I'm talking about. He wouldn't have gotten that look if he didn't. Damn it. Okay, when I called you baby twice now, you've gotten this look that is so... Damn. I don't know how to explain it. You look at me like I've done something so remarkable, and all I've done is call you a silly pet name. I was just curious. I'm sorry. I duck my head in embarrassment, even though I'm not sure what I did to be embarrassed about.
Chelsea, look at me.
Uh-huh, I hedge.
Chelsea!
The command in his voice couldn't be missed, but still I avoid looking up.
I'm not going to ask you again, sunshine.
After taking a deep breath and willing those stupid tears away, I look up. I swear, all I do is cry these days. Pretty soon I'm going to be like all of those annoying heroines in books that never stop leaking. I gasp when I see the smile on his face. His eyes are soft, and he looks so carefree and peaceful.
I'm not mad at you. You aren't doing anything wrong in asking me that. Let's get one thing straight, okay?
I nod.
I will always be honest with you. Always. Even if you don't want to hear it. The only thing I ask is that you do the same. I don't want you to ever doubt what's going through my mind or wonder if you should say something. No secrets, babe. I understand why you didn't tell me about the baby before now. That's in the past. From now on, I want you to be completely open with me. Think you can do that?"
I nod again.
"Okay, sunshine. That's good."
He kisses me sweetly, then pulls back and urges me to rest on his shoulder. His arm curls around my shoulders, and his hand that isn't holding me tight grabs my hand and places it over his heart, keeping his warm hand on top. The steady beats of his heart help to calm my own. We settle into a relaxing peace that almost has me drifting off until he speaks again.
"I know I told you about my mother. I don't want to get into that deeper, baby. Just know that there was absolutely no love when I was growing up. I can't remember her ever calling me anything other than a bastard, constantly reminding me how unwanted I was."
He pauses when I sob softly.
"Hey, none of that. I've come to peace with it. It's taken me a while, but she has no place left in my life. I pretty much never had a relationship until I decided to give it a go once. I didn't love her, but I enjoyed being around her. Figured, what the hell? Surely there was a woman out there who wasn't full of evil like my mother. She wasn't as bad, but I learned almost too late just what kind of person she was. We were engaged for almost a year, and not once did she call me anything other than Asher. So I guess, long story short, hearing you call me baby, hearing something so fucking pure coming from your lips, does something to me that I can't even explain. But I love it."
God, my heart breaks for this man. This incredible man who has had way too much pain in his life. I can't even fathom how a mother could treat her own children the way his treated him and Coop. Just the thought of it makes me pull my hand from under his and place it against my stomach.
"Hey, talk to me,"
he requests. "I can't imagine how that bitch of a mother could treat you like that, and that woman you were engaged to, Asher. I want to hurt them so badly."
He laughs lightly. "Sunshine is in the past. It's been a long time since I let my mother hurt me, even emotionally. As for Sarah Jane, that was her name, I haven't even thought about her until tonight. She was a mistake, and I got lucky seeing her true colors before I married her."
"Why do you call me that?" Well, hello, ADD. Of all the things I should and could be asking him, I stupidly ask him why he calls me Sunshine.
"Huh?
Why do you call me Sunshine?" He actually looks embarrassed for a second before he answers.
It's going to sound stupid or maybe just make me sound like a damn pussy.
He awkwardly laughs.
"I've been stuck in this fog, this darkness that's held me captive since Coop's murder. This black hole of grief that I just couldn't escape."
He sighs, and I know this is costing him a lot to talk about. I instantly kick myself for bringing it up.
"But then you came into my life, and as corny as it sounds, you were my light when there was none to be found. You were my sunshine when I'd been stuck in nothing but night."
Oh my God. Oh my God, I squeak.
"Yeah, I told you, it sounds stupid as hell."
He goes to move away from me, but I quickly move, straddling his hips and making it impossible to get away. Bringing my hands up and framing his face, I make sure he has nowhere else to look but directly into my eyes. "You make it impossibly hard not to hand my heart over to you. That has to be the most incredible, heartfelt, and moving thing anyone has ever said to me, Asher. Do not for 1 second think I would ever think that how you feel about me would make me think you were anything less than remarkable." I lean down, pressing my lips lightly to his. I don't move to deepen this kiss. I breathe him in, basking in the glow of being his sunshine.
"I want you again,"
he says against my lips, his hand moving between us and slowly pushing into my pussy. "Then take me. I'm yours," I gasp.
"Yes, sunshine, you sure are mine."
This time he doesn't take his time. I thought the first time we came together was toe-curling, awe-inspiring, earth-shaking, best sex ever, but this blows it all out of the water. His eyes bore into mine the whole time his hips are thrusting powerfully, driving his thick erection into my body at a speed that has me gasping for my breath. His hands never leave my face, where he holds me prisoner to his gaze. His arms are under mine, bracing him to the bed and leaving mine free to roam over his strong back and firm ass. Every time he digs deep and my fingers dig into his back, he lets out this animalistic groan that has me soaking his cock. By the time he pushes in deep, emptying himself out into my body, I've come 3 times and would swear that I saw angels. After he leaves the bed, returning with a warm washcloth to clean me off with so much care that I almost come again, he throws it off to the side and climbs back into the bed with me, wrapping me in his arms. A peace I've never known washes over me in that moment, and I know without a shadow of doubt that no matter what happens, this man has taken a part of my heart I will never be able to get back.
Chapter 19. Asher.
He's clueless, Brittany. Completely fucking clueless.
Sarah Jane laughs into the phone, completely oblivious that I'm standing right outside our bedroom door. I can feel my anger starting to simmer at a low boil. I just stand there, waiting to see what she's going to say next. Sarah Jane and I have been dating for about a year. I met her at a local bar, and for the first time the thought of being with someone steady didn't cause my dick to die a slow death. It just seemed like the right thing to do when she started pressuring me to put a ring on her finger. I don't really know what love feels like, but I like her enough to deal with her daily. So that has to mean something. But what I do know is that at 25, I just know I need something stable for Coop so he can get over this notion that all chicks are pure evil. By judging this shit I'm listening to, I might be proving him right.
Can you believe he was stupid enough to buy me a ring? Well, if you could call this speck a ring, I need a goddamn magnifying glass to make out the diamond.
She laughs. For the first time in months, that laugh doesn't make me want to fuck her. No, it makes me want to strangle her slim fucking neck.
He's perfect, though. I just know that once he marries me and I get pregnant, he'll bend over backwards for me.
I don't know what Brittany, her best friend, says in response to that, but I continue to stand here, waiting to see what bullshit comes out next.
We talked about this, Britt. I need him to prove to Daddy that I'm responsible enough to take over the company. You know, he thinks I'm too flaky to take over, and Clarkston Inc. is worth fucking millions. All I need to do is marry Asher and maybe have a kid. Then, boom, Daddy will hand over the company on a silver platter. No, I'm not just doing this for the company. That's the goal of it all, but hell, you've seen Asher. And his brother, for that matter. He's gorgeous, and he can fuck me like an animal. Maybe I can get his brother to agree to some side action. Could you imagine both of the Cooper boys fucking me? God, I could come right now just thinking about it. I bet he's just as rough as Asher is.
She laughs again, and I'm livid. How could I have been so fucking stupid? I move to storm into the bedroom, but stop short when a firm hand grabs my bicep and holds me still. I turn sharply, ready to lay out whatever motherfucker is stupid enough to let this train wreck keep going. His eyes are burning, his lips set at a thin line, but he shakes his head and nods in the direction that Sarah Jane's voice is still yapping, mouthing a firm no to me. We stand there and listen to her go on and on about how much she wishes she could fuck us both, how she's using me, fucking using me like a piece of shit just to get her daddy's money. I'm disgusted with myself, ashamed that I let her get the best of me, but most of all, I hate that I've done this. In an effort to prove to Coop that he doesn't need to sleep with every woman he meets, that there has to be a woman worth sharing your life with, I've let him down. I should have seen this coming. And now I worry that Coop is going to see that maybe he's right. Maybe chicks aren't worth shit when it comes to us. We've been tainted from birth. Makes sense that we should just keep our fucking distance. Sarah Jane's laugh floats through the air again, and I'm fucking done. Before Coop can stop me, I step forward and push the door open the rest of the way. It slams against the wall, breaking off the hinges and leaving it hanging at an odd angle. Lovely, just something I'll end up paying for with the landlord. The fuck did I just hear you say, Sarah Jane? She has the fucking nerve to look ashamed. The fucking nerve to look like she is the wrong party here. Hell fucking no. Did I hear you correctly, bitch? I'm just a goddamn game to you?
Asher,
she starts. Oh, fuck no. Let me tell you what's going to happen now. You're going to take my miserable diamond off your finger, get your fucking shit, and leave. I don't ever want to hear from you again. And while we're at it, I better not see you step a foot near Coop. You think you're going to use me as a pawn for your shit? Then think again, darling, because this shit ends now. I stepped forward, my chest brushing her ample tits. It's a shame you let the cat out of the bag. Who knows? Maybe you would have known what it feels like to be taken by both the Cooper men. Such a pity. But hey, no sweat off my back, bitch. Your pussy is so worn that I could have dropped a coin in there and never found the bottom. I don't waste time seeing her reaction. I stomp right out the door, past the laughing Coop, and into my truck. I wait because I know Coop will be quick behind me. We don't even talk before the rubber of my tires is screaming against the pavement and I'm tearing ass to the bar. Time to get fucked up and try to remember why I ever thought that I was good enough for someone. We have been at the bar for a few hours. I'm well past drunk, while Coop is just chilling and keeping the drinks coming. I'm not drinking because I'm heartbroken or anything. I'm drinking because I'm pissed. I wanted so badly to prove Coop wrong. I don't want him alone. I don't want him to keep thinking that he should avoid a relationship. I want him to believe that there is more out there for us. It's the hope I've had as long as I can remember. I would see people who seemed so in love, so happy, that I would pray that one day we would find that. Unfortunately for me, Coop has made it perfectly clear that he will never settle down. Never give a woman a chance to hurt him again. And I hate that for him. He has so much to give, so much of him that deserves to feel that love we see.
You ready to believe me when I say all chicks are good for is spreading their legs and enjoying our dicks?
He laughs. No, I'm not. One day, there's going to be more than sex. We're going to meet someone who proves all this bullshit wrong, Coop.
Doubt that, brother. I'm not setting myself up for that shit ever. Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. But that love is for what we can give each other between the sheets. Never. I will never settle myself down with just one.
How can you be so sure? Don't you want to share your life with someone else?
Yeah, I've got you.
I shake my head. I know he believes that, too. He really thinks that the only thing he will ever need is me. And even though I know I'm not going anywhere, I wish he would see things differently. I've seen our friends settle into good, loving relationships, so I know it's out there. He just refuses to believe it. And I know it all has to do with our fucking mother. She's done this to him, and just when I thought I couldn't hate her more than I already do, I'm proven wrong twice in one day.
What about kids, Coop? Do you really never want to have kids?
What the hell is this, Dr. Phil?
He laughs. Hell no, I don't want kids. I won't take a chance that anything that evil bitch has could be passed on to my kid. No way I will take that chance. The poor thing would be doomed from the fucking beginning. There isn't anything in me worth giving a kid, and you know that.
He sobers for a second, shaking his head.
It's better this way, Ash. I've got you, I've got the boys. There's no need to shake things up now.
I wish you didn't believe that, brother.
Just give it up, Ash, please.
If it weren't for the raw desperation in his stare, I would press longer. But I do what he wants and keep silent. We sit there, together, just like we always have been. He's right about one thing. I'll always be here, and nothing could change that.
Chapter 20, Chelsea. 3 weeks later. Today's the day that I find out if I'm having a little boy or a little girl. For as long as I can remember, I've always dreamt of having a little princess. Someone I can dress in all pink, do her hair and nails, bond with like my mother did with me. However, today I'm hoping and praying that they tell me that I'm having a boy. I've been dreaming of a perfect little blonde-haired, blue-eyed prince for the last month or so. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like I just know this is going to be my son. Over the last 3 weeks, Asher and I have become inseparable. The bond that started to grow between us in the weeks that followed Coop's murder has turned into something I never could have fathomed. As corny as it sounds, he's my other half. The reasons we've been brought together, that we even met, seem to be the hand of fate. I don't usually believe in that nonsense, but I have to believe that everything that's happened has happened for a reason. Last weekend was hard. Asher's slowly been dealing with some of the things he's been avoiding. One of those things happened to be clearing out his brother's house. Coop had a small 2-bedroom house just outside the city limits. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it was full of memories for Ash, full of his brother. And if it hadn't been for the sheet of dust that coated every surface, you would have thought that Coop would be coming home at any second.
I can't go in yet, Chelsea. I just need a minute.
I look over at Asher. He's staring straight ahead at the closed garage door. His fingers are clutching the steering wheel as if it's his lifeline. My heart breaks for him. I know that today has to be costing him a lot. Too much. But he told me that he needed to do this. He needed to start turning on the lights in the darkness of his life. Take all the time you need, baby, I say, hoping that my voice doesn't crack. I wait for him to battle whatever is raging within his mind. My hand continues to play with the longer pieces of hair on his neck, and I rub my belly with my other.
I wish he was going to be inside. God, I wish so badly that he was still here.
I know you do, baby. I can see him struggling even worse, and I know this is going to be even harder than I imagined. Unhooking my seatbelt and opening my door doesn't even filter through his thoughts. My poor man is so lost right now. Once I've walked around to his side of the truck, I open the door. He doesn't even look at me. Hell, I'm not even sure that he knows I'm standing here. Ash? I question. Asher! I harden my tone and finally gain his attention. He looks over at me, his eyes lost and haunted. Do you see me? I need to make sure you really see me right now and that you aren't lost in the nightmare in your head. He nods, his throat moving with his effort to control his emotions. You are one of the strongest men I know, baby. I wish I could take your pain, ease your heart even for a second, but this is something you have to do for yourself. I'll be by your side every second you'll have me. All you have to do is take that first step. It's going to be hard, but you're not alone. I wait for him to gather his thoughts, hoping that I didn't overstep. We've talked about Coop's death almost nightly. I know all about his quest to bring down the man responsible, and it terrifies me. There's a reason that he's wanted by so many different law enforcement branches, and I'm shocked he's still roaming free. That man is dangerous with a capital D, and I've made it my mission to try and convince Asher that he doesn't need to do this. It's a battle I'm wholly committed to win.
I miss him, Sunshine. My God, I miss him so much it feels like my chest is being split in two. I think about him, that damn cocky smile, his stupid jokes, and I wish...
He trails off, closing his eyes, lost in the memory of his brother. I take a second to bat away the tears that are rolling down my cheeks, cursing my stupid hormones. Asher needs me to be strong right now, not my normal basket case self that cries on the drop of a hat. I know, baby, I know. He opens his eyes, observing me with a look I've seen a few times on his face before. His hardness evaporates and his eyes turn soft.
I love you, Sunshine,
he says softly. My eyes widen. My mouth gapes at the words he's just spoken, but my heart swells. And I love you, Asher. He gives me a sweet kiss, pulling back to rest his forehead against mine, a move I'm familiar with from him. He seems to take pleasure in just sitting like this, being close to me, and I love it.
I'm ready.
One step at a time, okay? If you need to stop, we can come back later. He nods and climbs down from the cab. We walk hand in hand into Coop's old house. I refuse to let his hand go, even when the grip becomes almost unbearable. That day had to be one of the hardest. Witnessing him break down when he walked through the door, his huge frame crashing to his knees. A sound so heartbreaking slipping from his throat was almost my undoing. But when I hurried to kneel in front of him and saw the raw, unmasked pain in his eyes, the tears that were flowing down his face, I couldn't hold back any longer. I pulled him into my arms and held him. I held my big, strong man while he purged himself of every ounce of grief he'd been holding in since he'd lost Coop. He cried for what felt like hours, my ass and legs going numb, my back killing me, and my arms shaking with the effort to hold him steady. You couldn't have pulled me away if you'd tried. I stayed by his side, just like I'd promised, and I tried to cover him in my light, giving him what he needed, my love. It took us hours and a few more breakdowns before we were able to even make a dent in packing up his brother's memories. It was when I found him sitting on the edge of Coop's bed, his pillow clutched in his arms and his sobs echoing around the room, that I knew we needed to go. He didn't fight me. I helped him out to the truck, into the passenger seat, and drove us back to my place, or rather our place, since he pretty much is living there at this point. He was like a zombie the whole time, still clutching that damn pillow. Joe gave us a concerned look when we walked through the lobby door, but I waved him off with a small smile. He nodded his head and continued whatever he had been messing with on the computer. That night I fed a still silent Asher, put him in the shower with me, and tried my hardest to wash away the sadness that was coating him like a thick jacket. The whole time I worried that he was slipping back into that darkness, and I wouldn't be able to get him back this time. We fell asleep, my arms holding him close to my body, his head resting against my chest and his arms wrapped around my waist. I woke up again to wetness against my chest and his body shaking. My heart broke for every violent shudder that racked his body. When he lifted his head and looked into my eyes, I didn't know what to expect, but what came out of his mouth will forever be something I remember.
I don't think I would have survived that had you not been there. I told you before that you're my light, my sunshine, and baby, if it hadn't been for you shining that light on me today, I wouldn't have escaped that pain.
I gulped my sob, wanting nothing more than to break down in that moment. He leaned up, giving me the softest kiss before taking my body in a love-making that was so pure I felt like our souls had merged into one. When he gasped my name as he came, words of our love for each other whispered in the darkness, I knew that even though he might still have hard moments, we had jumped a huge hurdle that he'd needed in his healing.
Chelsea?
Back here, baby, I call out, finishing out the last chapter I had written. A sense of pride fills me when I look down at the word count. Holy shit, I'm really doing this.
What are you up to? Don't we need to head out?
He nuzzles my neck, trailing hot kisses along as he moves up to rest his chin on the top of my head. Nothing? Damn it. I really need to work on this answering him with a question crap. He always sees right through my being evasive. Truth is, I haven't told anyone that I'm writing this book. I've been working on it for so long that I think I always thought it just wouldn't get finished. Or maybe the fear is what keeps me from telling anyone. It's a part of me that I've kept so close that it almost feels like a betrayal to my mind, as stupid as that sounds. Or if I admit it out loud, then it becomes real. The pressure to do it, to succeed, becomes real.
Sunshine, stop thinking and let me in.
It's a book I've been working on, I groan, knowing that I sound like a complete fool. I bury my head in my hands and wait for his laughter.
A book? Damn, that's astounding, babe. Did you just start this?
I turn around and look at him, the shock and love clear on his face. There is nothing but respect and happiness for me and my dream. I smile so large that it hurts my face, knowing damn well that I must look wonky.
You okay there?
He laughs, mirth apparent with each word. Never been better, baby. Never been better. He kisses me with what starts off as one of those sweet kisses I love so much, but it turns quickly into a devouring of mouths.
Must be one hell of a book if I get this kind of reaction from you.
He smiles down at me, looking so happy that my heart swells. It's nothing, I nervously groan.
Don't do that, he sternly bursts. Don't diminish something that is obviously important to you. Your dreams are important to me. I want to be here to enjoy them, cheer you on, and lift you up. This isn't a one-man show, Sunshine. You there for me, and me alone. No, it doesn't work like that with me. So let me ask you again. What is this book you're working on?
His tone leaves no room for arguing, and I can see in his eyes that he means it. He wants to be there, and he genuinely wants me to tell him. I started working on this book idea I had a few years ago. I never thought that I would do anything more than play with it, but the story's been demanding I finish it lately. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I need to write it more than I need to breathe. It sounds so silly. I try to hide my face again, afraid that I might start crying and basket case Chelsea will come out to play.
Chelsea, there is nothing about that sounds silly. I'm so proud of you. It takes serious guts to be able to write something that means that much to you. I hope one day you'll let me read it.
You really want to read it? It's not like man stuff. It's romance, baby. I place one hand on his solid chest and the other against his cheek. He turns his head, nuzzling my palm for a second before placing one of his famous sweet kisses against my skin. My whole body swoons from just that alone.
You bet that sweet ass I want to read it. Come on, we'll talk about this kick-ass book of yours on the way to the doctor.
He leans in and places a kiss against my stomach before standing up.
Time to figure out if I need to buy stock in Smith & Wesson or Magnum.
Oh, God, you're incorrigible, I laugh, slapping his hard abs while I stand.
Come on, woman. Let's get you out of here so I can get you back and strip you naked.
Chapter 21. Asher.
What are you thinking about?
Chelsea questions from the passenger seat. God, she looks beautiful. The sun's hitting her blonde hair, making it look like she's got a halo around her. She's got on some tight shirt that puts so much emphasis on her belly. And damn, that belly. She went from hardly showing to popping out overnight, and it's the most attractive thing I've ever seen. I don't even know how to explain it. I know the baby isn't mine, but in my mind, I love him or her just as if it were. Chelsea talked to me the other night about it, her worries that I might not be with her for the right reasons, but I stopped that crazy shit right away. That woman has no clue how much I love her. I never thought I would be capable of this. Never thought that I could trust a woman enough to hand over my heart, my emotions, and play a game of chance. With her, there's no doubt that this is real. I fought the feelings I had for her before I even knew that there was a baby. Knowing she's pregnant, and with Coop's baby, isn't awkward or confusing for me. I can separate my feelings. I love them both differently. She's my reason for getting up in the morning. My reason for knowing that I can get up in the morning. And that baby? God, that baby gives me a little hope. Hope that the world isn't a giant fucked up version of hell. That innocent baby, my brother's baby, is my blood, and I will love it just like it was my own.
Ash?
She inquires at my silence, turning slightly in her seat to face me. I grab her hand, giving her a squeeze before I place our joined hands against her bump. Just thinking about how different my life is than it was a few months ago. I'm happy, Chelsea. I'm really happy, and I didn't think I would feel that way again. She smiles that fucking gorgeous smile at me, and I notice a second too late that she's about to lose it. She clutches my hand, bringing it up to her chest at an awkward angle, and hugs it. If I weren't accustomed to her whiplash-like mood swings, I would be alarmed. I smile knowingly at her and wait for the tears to stop and her grip to lighten up on my hand.
I'm sorry,
she hiccups. There's nothing to be sorry about. Not sure what brought on the waterworks, sunshine. Least I can tell that's a good thing.
Oh, hush you. It is a good thing. I'm so proud of you, Ash.
She sobers, leans her head against the seat and looks at me, her eyes dark with emotion. And why exactly are you proud of me? I joke.
You've come so far. You're fighting that darkness all on your own, Ash.
She sighs.
You have no idea how incredible you are.
I look over at her in shock. How can she even begin to think that I've done this alone? My God, if it weren't for her, I would still be lost. She's the reason I'm not trapped in that black hole of grief. You really believe that, don't you? That I did this all on my own? She nods, looking perplexed at my question. Damn, woman. One of these days you're going to see just how much you give me. I didn't do this alone. I did this with you right by my side. Her eyes start to fill with tears, and this time I know what's coming before she starts. Chelsea, try it up, baby. Nothing to cry about, okay? She nods her head, kisses her fingers, and brings them to my cheek.
If I didn't have this big old belly, I would kiss the mess out of you, Asher.
Right back at you, babe. We make the rest of the drive to the doctor in a comfortable silence. I let the nerves pick back up at the thought of this coming appointment. So tell me what I'm about to experience. She laughs when she hears the stress in my tone. No lie, I'm edgy as hell right now. I keep picturing all these instruments of torture coming for her belly.
Just the normal stuff. The nurse will check my weight. Speaking of, you are not allowed to look.
I laugh and nod my head, willing her to continue.
Then they'll make me pee in a cup. Once again, no looking at that either. Then check my blood pressure and ask me a million questions about how I've felt the last month. Then the doctor will come in and ask me the same questions all over again. It's really kind of boring. She'll move my belly around a bunch, measure it, and then ask me more questions.
That's it? Well, how are they supposed to tell you what the baby is if all they do is touch your belly? Is there some way to tell by moving it around? She laughs, the music of her amusement dancing around inside of my Jeep.
Baby, I'll get an ultrasound. They just place some goopy gel on my stomach and place a little wand over it, move it around, and take a bunch of measurements. Then if the baby is cooperating, we will get to see between his or her legs and hopefully know what we're having.
Hearing her say "we're" causes my heart to leap in my chest. God damn, this woman unmans me. I like the sound of that, I tell her honestly.
What, that I get some goopy gel?
She snickers. No, sunshine, you said we're. What we're having. I love how that sounds. She doesn't say anything, and I look over at her. Once again she's bawling, but this time she's trying her hardest to keep her shit together. I burst out laughing, earning me a light smack to my arm.
This isn't funny,
she smarts. You're right, it's hilarious. She smacks me again, but I notice that her tears have dried up and she's looking out the window with a small smirk on her lips. We've been sitting in these damn narrow chairs for the last hour. I shift a few times uncomfortably, wishing I could get out of this room. There are at least 15 other pregnant chicks in here. Some have bigger bellies than Chelsea's, but some are huge. So huge that I swear I can see their babies moving. I look back over at Chelsea's belly again with what must be a look of horror because she starts laughing lightly.
Would you relax?
She says with a hushed tone. I lean over so that my lips are right up against her ear. Sunshine, would you be able to relax if all you could picture was a little alien popping out of one of their bellies? Just like in that damn Spaceballs movie. I swear to God, if that happens, you're on your own because I'm out of here. She starts laughing loudly, drawing the attention of the room. Well, the part of the room that wasn't already undressing me with their eyes. God damn it, I'm in some weird hormone bubble and I feel violated. Oh, so violated. I complain under my breath, earning even more giggles out of Chelsea. I try to scowl at her, but that only causes her to laugh louder. She holds her hands up in surrender, trying her hardest to calm down. I just shake my head and look back down at the pregnancy magazine she handed me when we sat down. I think I've been reading the same article for the last 30 minutes. What in the fuck is a mucus plug? I'm so out of my element right now.
You two are just lovely together. Congratulations on your baby, the woman next to me says. I'm here with my daughter. Her husband is overseas, bless his heart. Anyway, I'm here to be support if she needs me. It's so wonderful to see a couple so in love.
Thank you, ma'am, and please tell your son-in-law thank you for his service. She looks over at me with a question in her pale eyes before a wide smile takes over her weathered face.
What branch were you, son?
Marines, ma'am. One tour. She smiles kindly, her hand reaching out to pat mine.
Such a fine young man. I'll pass that on, and thank you for your bravery, honey. It takes a strong soul to be able to do what y'all do.
I swallow the uncomfortable lump in my throat and try to think of an appropriate response. I'm saved from replying when an attractive woman wobbles out and walks over. She smiles and asks the older woman if she's ready. I get one more pat on my hand before she gets up and leaves. I look back down at my hands holding this stupid magazine and try to get my head together. If only she knew how broken my soul has been.
She's right, you know,
Chelsea whispers. I don't respond. I just sit there, reach out and grasp her hand with mine, giving her a tight squeeze. I've never felt brave. I've felt compelled to give Coop a better life, to fight with him for our freedom in more ways than one. But I always felt like a fraud because I joined the Marines to make sure I was there for Coop, and I've always felt incredibly selfish for my motivations.
Miss Avery?
We both look up when Chelsea's name is called. I can't help but frown when I hear her last name. She should have my last name. The world should know that she is my woman, and I vow right here and now to make sure that happens sooner than later. I toss the magazine on the chair next to me and stand to help Chelsea up. She laughs but takes my hand anyway, and we make our way back to the exam room. She was spot on when she told me what would happen. She got pissed as hell when I acted like I was looking at the scale, and I've been laughing about it since the nurse left the room 10 minutes ago.
I told you not to look. Oh, God, I'm going to get fat, and you're going to be so disgusted.
Well, that sure sobered my amusement real quick. After getting up from my seat, I walk over to her. Chelsea, I was just joking. Trust me right now, okay? There isn't anything that could make me find you disgusting. Looking at you, with that sexy belly, those full breasts just begging for my mouth, those hot-as-hell hips begging for my fingers to dig in deep. Baby, there's nothing in the world that could ever make you disgusting.
Oh.
She looks up at me, and once again she bursts into tears. I just shake my head and pull her into my arms. We need to work on all this damn crying, I joke. A brisk knock on the door has me stepping away, unsure of where I should be. An older Spanish woman walks in with a smile on her face. She introduces herself as Dr. Sosa and starts asking Chelsea a bunch of questions. She doesn't even bat an eye at my being here. It gives me a warm sense of pride that she just knows that I'm here with my woman. I am so lost in thought that I miss her doing half of her exam on Chelsea. I look over to see her placing a small drop of gel on her stomach and wonder if this is it. Chelsea, perceptive as always, looks over and shakes her head slowly with a smile on her face. When the doctor pulls some small box with a microphone-looking thing on it out of her lab coat, I can feel my brows turn in. Well, this wasn't on the list of what would happen.
Cálmate, Daddy. I'm just listening to your baby's heartbeat.
My eyes widen and shoot to Chelsea when I hear her call me Daddy. We haven't discussed my role in the baby's life. Will I be the uncle/boyfriend, the uncle/husband, the uncle/daddy? Because every time I think I should bring it up, I feel even more confused. I know what I want. I want to raise this baby as if it were my own. But I also want him or her to know who their daddy is. I will never let a day go by that this baby doesn't know how much their daddy wishes he could be here. But, yeah, I want to be the daddy, in the sense of the word. I take a chance and look over at Chelsea. She's looking at me with an expression of love and contentment. I take a deep breath and squeeze her hand. Whatever just happened here, we can talk about it later, but right now, all I feel is peace and happiness. Then it happens. I look over at Dr. Sosa, then down to Chelsea's belly, where that weird microphone is pressed against her skin. The noise echoing through the room sounds like a million horses running at rapid speed. I widen my eyes when I realize what that noise is. Holy Lord, that's the heartbeat. I stand there in shock, my eyes refusing to move from her stomach even after Dr. Sosa removes the microphone thing and goes to address Chelsea.
Oh, cariño, the baby sounds perfect. 142 beats per minute. Nice and healthy.
She smiles and moves to the computer on the desk.
Are you ready for the ultrasound? Such an exciting time, yes? Yes, Dr. Sosa, I've been waiting for this appointment since I found out I was pregnant. Do you think that we'll be able to find out the gender today?
Chelsea asks wistfully.
I believe that if you've got a cooperative little one, then we should have no troubles.
I help Chelsea off the table and steady her until she can straighten her clothing. She looks up at me, questions in her eyes, and I just smile. I know she's wondering how I'm dealing with all of this. Truth be told, this is the most astounding moment of my life. I can't describe what it felt like. To hear the life growing inside her belly was thrilling and magical. I don't think, until this moment, that it had really hit me that this is real. Dr. Sosa leads us down the hall into a room that is dimly lit. There's an exam table that looks more comfortable than the last one she was in, and a big machine with all sorts of knobs and shit on it next to the table. And then there's the screen. A large projector-type screen sits opposite her table. I take another deep breath, help Chelsea back onto the table, and move to stand out of the way. Before I can get too far, her hand shoots out and grabs my arm. She looks at me shyly for a second before speaking.
Please, you belong right next to me, baby.
Well, hell, you don't have to tell me twice. She keeps hold of my hand as we wait for the doctor to enter some information into the machine at Chelsea's hip. After a few minutes, she squirts that gel back on her stomach, only a hell of a lot more, and presses what I'm assuming is the wand to her stomach. Thank God she prepared me for this, because there is no way that's comfortable. You okay, sunshine? I question. Her eyes glaze over, looking over my shoulder.
I'm perfect,
she hums.
Look,
she demands, raising the hand I'm not holding and pointing to the wall. I turn and immediately feel my body rock. It feels like an earthquake just rocked the very foundation I'm standing on. There, looking back at me, is a large black and white fuzzy image, a moving image that is clearly a baby. The baby. Is that? I inquire, my voice a low whisper.
That's our baby,
Chelsea says with awe. She doesn't even seem to notice that she called the baby ours. I'm unsure if the feeling of pride that is washing through my system is from that one softly spoken word, or seeing the baby for the first time. Beautiful, I slur through the thick knot of emotion burning my throat. I don't even bother hiding the amazement and unadulterated wonder. This is a moment in my life that I will never forget.
Everything looks beautiful. Would you two like to know what the gender is? I've got quite a clear shot.
She laughs. Please, I whisper, looking down into Chelsea's wet eyes. She nods her head, and then I hear it. Another moment in my life when I'm knocked right on my ass.
Congratulations, you've got a perfectly healthy baby boy.
A boy. In that moment, I feel like my brother is right here with us, cheering right along with us, enjoying this moment for everything it is, celebrating the life he created, happy and content. And that's all it takes for me to drop to my knees and press my forehead to Chelsea's belly. I don't even give a damn that gel crap is getting all over me. I bring my hands up and frame her stomach, whispering words of love and promises of the future I'll make sure this little boy has. I can feel Chelsea shudders, and I know that she's crying again, but I don't dare call her on it since I can feel the tears falling from my own eyes. After a few minutes, I climb to my feet and rub my eyes against my sleeve before moving in, taking her face between my palms and kissing her with everything I have. We don't need words right now. She knows. She gets it. I vaguely hear the click of the door as the doctor leaves us to our moment. Lost in our own thoughts, but connected together with our love for each other and our love for this baby. This little boy. Our little boy. I smile against her lips, feeling a weightlessness cover over me. You did it, little brother, I think. I'm going to make sure that your son knows just how brave his father was. Not one day, Coop, not one day will go by that I won't show him how much he's loved. He will never once question if he's wanted. I promise you that. When we leave the doctor, I notice that not once has our smile slipped from either of our faces. I love you, sunshine.
I love you back, baby.
Chapter 22. Chelsea. It's been a week since the doctor's appointment. A week since we found out that I'm having a baby boy. It's been such an incredible week. Between working part-time with Dee, working on my book, and falling into Asher's arms at night, my life couldn't be fuller. I'm beyond happy right now, and I don't think anything can change that. Asher's been over the moon since we found out. At first I could tell he was trying to hide his happiness. The uncertainty with his role in the baby's life was weighing heavily on him. I didn't waste a second before letting him know exactly how I felt about it, how I wanted things to be. I told him, while sitting in his lap in his Jeep, my arms around his neck and my forehead pressed to his, that, in my heart, he's this baby's father. Not in the way that he's replacing Coop or Coop's part in this baby's life. I want Asher to raise this child alongside of me. I want this baby to look at Asher with the same love I feel, wake up asking for his daddy, and Asher is there. And I want Asher to be by my side every night to tell our son about how brave his daddy Coop was. This baby would never question who fathered him, but he would also know the very tangible love of his daddy. Asher didn't even fight me on it, as I'd expected. He just pressed his body closer and thanked me over and over again. From that moment on, we've grown even closer as a couple. Our love for each other and our love for our child is so all-consuming that there's no doubt in my mind that I'm the luckiest woman on the planet. I grabbed the mail from Joe before making my way up to my apartment. I had to go into the office today and talk to Dee. Ash and I talked last night, and we both decided that I would stop working for her. He wants me to focus on enjoying my pregnancy, and he's been urging me to finish my book. His faith in my dream and me is what finally caused me to make a decision. She was naturally upset that I would be leaving her at the end of the month, just 2 weeks away, but she also understood why. I think her confidence in me really helped make me see that this is the right move. I might have never had the courage to take this step, but I want nothing more than to make all of them proud of me. Asher decided to stop taking so many cases that would put him leaving me for long periods. I could tell that he didn't want to miss a second of my pregnancy either, but I was starting to get worried about how we would support both of us and the baby on one cut-in-half income. Asher explained to me that he's been working on some technical jobs the guys at Core Security needed. He said that with Maddox not around as much, he's been taking over for him with his normal duties. I felt a little better knowing that even when Maddox came back to work, they would be keeping him on full-time. He says that business is growing so quickly that they need the extra help. So here we are. I'm almost unemployed. Asher is starting with the CS crew, and we're working to start our lives together. I unlock the door and go to push it open, frowning when it catches on something. Ash? I holler through the half-cracked door.
Coming, sunshine. Hold on. Shit, I'm sorry. I meant to move that.
I hear some shuffling, sounds of him picking up and dropping something heavy, and then him letting out a tired sigh. What the hell is going on in there? When he swings the door open, all thoughts fly out of my head. He's wearing just a pair of basketball shorts hanging low in his hips. His bare chest, chiseled muscles, and sweaty skin are just begging for my hands. I drop the mail in my hands, my purse hanging heavily in the crook of my arm, and all but attack. He laughs against my lips, but lets me lead the show. My hand is pushing between the waistband of his shorts before the door even closes behind us. His groan is swallowed between my lips, and I moan at how hard and velvety he is in my hand. Thick and heavy with his arousal, I drop to my knees, ignoring his protest, and take him as deep as I can. His girth makes it hard for me to take him as far into my mouth as I wish I could. I decide to work with his swollen head, moving both of my fists in sync with my mouth, working him up to the point that his hands are both fisted in my hair and his substantial panting is falling down to my ears. Knowing that I'm bringing this much pleasure to him is all the encouragement I need to keep going. I lick and suck, nibble and tease, caress his heavy sack, and the whole time I can feel my body starting to heat. That familiar burn takes over my system and begs for release. I hum when I shift, and the seam in my jeans rubs against my sensitive clit. Holy shit, I could come right now, just from sucking his cock.
Chelsea, I want to be inside that perfect pussy when I come, coating your tight-ass cunt with a part of me and marking your body. Fuck, sunshine. Just the thought of your slick heat dripping down my cock has me ready to blow. Lean up, baby.
I release his cock with a loud pop and take his hand when he helps me stand. He doesn't waste a second, his lips slamming down on mine with a teeth-clashing brutality that has my pussy screaming for fulfillment. Fuck, I need you! I scream when his hand moves to cut my pussy.
I know what you need,
he rumbles. My pussy clenches at his voice. God, I need him. He picks me up, careful not to jostle me too much, and takes off to the bedroom, standing me up next to the bed, He slowly peels my clothes from my body. His lips, tongue, and teeth create a trail of fire across my skin, and when he takes one of my heavy breasts in his hands, rolling my nipples roughly before closing his lips around the peak, I know I'm seconds away from coming. And I damn sure want to be with him when I do. Pushing away at his shoulders, enjoying the look of shock when he falls back on the mattress, I finish stripping the rest of my clothes from my body. When I'm completely naked, I take my hand and run it through my wet folds. His eyes darken, and a rumble vibrates from his chest, causing my fingers to wet even more. I kneel, straddling his trim hips, and move my hand back to my pussy, opening my lips for him to see just how much I need him. His snarl is a fuel to my fire. Dipping two of my pink-tipped fingers deep into my pussy, I throw my head back and whimper. Curling my fingers, I hit that perfect spot deep within my body that causes my hips to rock forward, and I feel his hard erection bobbing against my arm, begging that I move and let him in. Wanting to see just how long he's going to let me have the driver's seat, I continue to fuck myself with my fingers, alternating between pumping them deep and swirling around my clit. I don't want to make myself come, so I avoid pressing against the one spot begging for it. My fingers are coated. I can feel my wetness starting to pool where my palm is cupped against my lips as my 2 digits pump slowly.
"Give them to me,"
he barks.
"Fucking give them to me."
He spits coarsely through clenched teeth. I make a show of slowly pulling my fingers out of my body, walking my fingers up his body, tracing each defined ab, twirling around each nipple before I finally give him what he wants. The second my fingers are within reach, he leans forward and takes them between his lips. His tongue curls around them and he sucks in an intoxicating rhythm that has me panting and stars starting to pop in my vision. He releases my fingers. His teeth nipping my fingertips right when I'm almost free of his mouth has me moaning again, rocking my hips forward on his cock.
"Take me inside, you sunshine. Ride my cock until you come."
His face is pulled tight, his arousal burning me in his sapphire stare. Lifting up, I guide his thick cock inside and begin to do just as he demanded. I ride him hard. My hands start off on my tits as I gain speed, but when it becomes apparent that I need help steadying myself, his hands come forward and help me move from their grasp on my hips. I move my hands back and brace myself on his muscular thighs. I bounce, rock, roll, and grind against him, my wetness echoing along with the slapping of our skin.
"God damn, your pussy is so fucking tight. Your walls are milking my cock, sunshine, fucking begging for my cum."
His fingers dig in, and I'm almost sure I'll bruise from the pressure. It is delicious.
"I'm not going to last much longer,"
he warns. I just hum my response, too close to my own completion to speak. Sensing my closeness, he takes one of his hands and moves it to my throbbing clit, pinching it roughly before he gives me a light slap against my lips. And just like that, I come with a ferociousness I never knew possible. By the time I stop screaming his name, and God only knows what else, I loosen the hold my fingers have on his legs and lean forward. I can tell he hasn't come yet. His face is flushed, lips drawn in so tight that they're turning white around the creases. His eyes, though, they've become so dark that they have that navy color I love so much. I lean up, slowly take him all the way to the root and rock my hips, and we both let out a heavy breath when he swells even more within me.
"Fuck me,"
he pants. After leaning up, he lays me down with more gentleness than I thought him capable of and pulls his hips back. He pauses with his cock just centimeters away from slipping from my body before he slams home. I scream, my hands reaching up and pulling him down to my mouth. We swallow each other's cries as he takes what he needs from my body. Right before he comes, my body seizes in the second most delicious orgasm I've ever experienced. He grunts deep in his throat, his teeth biting my shoulder with just enough pressure to cause a little mini orgasm to rock through my body. Then he unclamps his teeth, throws his head back, and screams my name.
"Chelsea! Oh, fuck, Chelsea!"
I close my eyes and drift off to one hell of an orgasm-induced fog.
Chapter 23. Asher. After I'm able to mentally find all the pieces of my brain that just splattered all over the ceiling, I look down at my woman as she's passed out with a small smile on her face. Fuck, that was one of the hottest things I've ever experienced. My legs feel like mush when I go to move off of her, and when my cock slips free of her body, I want to cry out from the loss of her tight walls hugging me. Looking down and seeing our joined releases falling out of her pussy has my dick throbbing for more. I close my eyes and will my erection down, but all I do is notice the heavy scent of her arousal feeding my nostrils. Fuck me. I climb off the bed, looking back at her. She's completely bare and spread wide for me, and I have to make myself walk to the bathroom. I clean myself off, smelling my fingers one last time before grabbing a washcloth and running it under the warm water. Walking back in her room, I smile a wicked smile when I see that she hasn't moved a muscle. Her long and lush legs are parted from where I was just seated deep, her arms having fallen to her sides in a lazy way, and her breathing making her substantial tits and her beautiful round belly rise and fall with even movements. She doesn't even stir when I clean her pussy, not even a twitch when I bring my lips down and kiss her against her red pussy lips. Shaking my head, I grab a new pair of shorts and head back into the kitchen to finish the task I was in the middle of when she got home, stopping long enough to pick up the mail and grab her purse and keys to place on the entryway table. The smile never once leaves my lips.
That smells heavenly,
I hear softly spoken from behind me right before her arms wrap around my stomach. I see my abs clench when the jolt that always follows her skin touching mine shoots through me. Yeah, sunshine, that's called dinner, I joke.
Dinner sounds good. All of a sudden, I'm famished. Would you happen to know anything about that?
She snickers. Damn right I do. She squeaks when I turn quickly and grab her by her hips. The feel of her soft body against my hard one causes my dick to stir in my shorts. There seems to be no shortage of my craving for her. She leans up on her toes, and I love how we fit together. Her stomach presses hard against my cock, her soft breasts hit me high on my abs, and with her face tipped up, staring at me with so much open love, her chin rests at my collarbone. She feels perfect.
Do you want to tell me why there are 2 small refrigerators in my closet?
She inquires with a smile. About that, I hedge.
Yeah, about that. Maybe you could tell me why they're stuffed full of the most interesting things?
Just making sure everything is covered.
Asher, what on earth could I possibly need a fridge full of pickles, almost every brand of cheese I've ever heard of, and some I haven't? Not to mention the abundance in coleslaw? I'm pretty sure I saw anchovies and pickled eggs when I was looking too, which, baby, that's just strange.
Don't forget the fruits and vegetables. They're in the second one. Did you not look in that one? I ask, moving around her to open the refrigerator in the kitchen. Well, maybe I put them in this one. Hold on, sunshine. I start rooting around, but don't see them.
Are you sure they weren't back there?
I turn around and meet her eyes. She's trying hard not to laugh. I can see it in her eyes, which are shining brightly at me. This is not funny, I say firmly.
This is hilarious, baby, she giggles. Did you go on a mission to find every food recorded as a pregnancy craving?
I can feel my skin heat. Fuck, when was the last time I blushed? This is serious, Chelsea. What if you're sitting here one day and you think, damn, I really wish I had some anchovies with cheese whiz. Well, no worries, because it's here. You want to nibble on some pickles and grab some ice cream? I've got it taken care of. Go on, look. I push her towards the freezer, my chest puffing with pride. Yeah, that's right. I took care of my woman. She opens the fridge and almost gets nailed with a pint of chunky monkey when it falls from the cold depths. I see her lip twitch and decide to ignore it. This was genius.
And what was blocking the door when I came in?
Ah, that was the juice. I got 2 of every brand they had. I wasn't sure if you would want something sweet or something with a little tart taste to it. So it's taken care of. I was moving the coats out of the closet by the front door when you came in. I need to make room for your juice. I smile at her, proud as hell at all I've accomplished today. She's silent for a moment, just looking at me, then back to the freezer. She opens the fridge and sees the stuffed shelves before looking back over at me. She glances down at the floor for a few beats before she looks up at me again.
Thank you, baby. That was very sweet of you. I'm really glad that if I ever need cheese whiz and anchovies, spinach, or olives, you've taken care of it.
And just like that, my chest puffs up a little more. Damn, I'm good. She rolls up to stand on the balls of her feet. I bend down and meet her lips for a few small kisses. Go on and relax. Dinner should be ready in about 30 minutes.
All right, baby.
She smiles, shakes her head, and walks away. I hear the TV click on before I turn back to the stove and finish cooking dinner for my woman.
Chelsea. I have never tried harder to keep my face blank, to keep the laughter that is threatening to burst loose. When I opened my closet and came face to face with two small black fridges, I was instantly confused. But when I noticed what they were full of, it all started to click together. Every cabinet and closet I looked in had been stashed with more odd foods. There were nuts in the bathroom drawers. There were chips of almost every brand and style stuffed in the guest bathtub. Apparently, I have a small juicer in my closet, too. But even as funny as this is, I can't help but love him a little more for how much thought he put into his weird stocking. I round the couch, grabbing the remote and clicking on the TV as I go. I spot the mail and snatch it up before settling on the couch. When I lean back, I feel it. I've felt it a few times before, but this time I can clearly feel my son making his presence known. "Asher!" I scream, a huge smile taking over my face. He comes tearing into the room, looking all over for a threat before settling his confused eyes on me. "What's wrong?" he gasps. "Come here, hurry!" I keep my hands on the spot he is steadily kicking against from my womb. "Here, give me your hand." He reaches out without question, kneeling on the floor next to my leg. "Do you feel it?" "Do I feel what, Sunshine?" He hasn't stopped looking at my belly, where my hand is pressing his larger one hard against my swollen stomach. I wait for it, praying as hard as I can that I get another firm kick. It takes a few minutes before I know he's felt it. His eyes widen, and I watch as complete euphoria takes place of the confusion. His eyes shoot up to mine, and I smile at him. "Can you believe it?" I whisper, afraid that if I speak any louder, I might scare the baby and he will stop. "Beautiful," he murmurs under his breath. Looking back up at me, he continues. "Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for making sure I share that with you, Sunshine." He leans in and gives me his sweet kiss before bending down and placing one against my belly. "God, I love you. Both of you," he says with a smile. "I love you too, and if you want me to keep loving you as much as I do, you need to go cook my dinner." He throws his head back, his rich laughter raining around me, and I love every second of it. I watch him walk back, his firm cheeks looking hot as hell in his shorts. Damn, I'm one lucky woman. 10 minutes, he calls from the kitchen. Gotcha. I turn my attention back to the mail, just bills, gossip magazines, and some junk. Apparently, it's been a few days since I checked the mail. It's never full of this much junk. I am just about to toss everything except the bills when I catch an envelope that must have fallen from my pile. It's just a plain white envelope with my apartment number on it. Weird. After tossing the other mail on the coffee table, I peel the back open and pull out the folded piece of paper before unfolding the single sheet and flipping it over so I can read the print. I gasp when I see the words that are staring back at me. If you know what's good for you, you'll back the fuck off now, or else. Oh my God, I can't stop my body from the uncontrollable fear that has taken over. My muscles have seized up in horror of what I hold in my hands. Coming out of my shock, I throw the letter from my grasp and jump from the couch before running into the kitchen. Asher looks amused at first until he sees whatever look I'm sporting. Chelsea, what is it? Are you okay? He starts roaming his hands along my body, looking for something visible that would make me this upset. I just keep shaking my head, my breathing becoming erratic. His eyes get hard, and I can see the panic he's trying to hide. You have to tell me what has got you so upset so I can take care of it. Please, he begs. Words are still beyond me. I pick my hand up and point one shaky finger towards the living room.
You stay here, okay? I'll be right back.
I nod my head and hear him walk through the apartment. I know when he finds it because I hear his roar and feel its power shake the walls. He comes bursting back into the kitchen. His arms go around my body. One arm is holding me tight at my waist, the other cradling the back of my neck, holding my head to his chest. I can feel the power of his anger raging in his body.
I promise you, I will find out who the fuck sent that. You let me take care of this, Chelsea. I mean it. No harm is going to come to you or our boy.
I continue to shake in his arms, terrified for him, the baby, and me. He doesn't let up on his hold. I can smell our dinner burning, but I can't stop my body from the overpowering dread. What does this mean? Who was that for? And more importantly, what now?
Chapter 24. Chelsea.
That's all it said? Izzy asks from the floor where she's playing with Nate. She's been in the same spot since she arrived at my apartment earlier. Yeah, scary, right? I look around, meeting each of their eyes.
Izzy looks confused. Dee's worried and Melissa looks pissed.
What did Asher say? Dee questions.
He told me not to worry about it, that he would take care of it. But it's been 2 weeks, and he's been so distant lately. He's gone before I wake up, and I'm already asleep when he comes home. The little that I have seen him was in passing when he came home to change his clothes.
I've been so worried about the distance between us. I've tried to talk to him about it, but every time I try, he just gives me one of his sweet kisses and tells me to stop worrying. I'm terrified, and I feel so alone. He's been at CS. Axel says that he's there every morning and stays long after they all have gone. God damn it. He's researching that man again. I thought we had moved past it. I mean, I knew that he was still looking into him, but I didn't think it was as bad as before. My head hurts. I think I've known that there was a chance that even my love wouldn't keep him from this crazy quest for vengeance. There can't be anything good that comes from his bloodthirst to avenge Coop's death. I get it, I really do, but that doesn't mean I don't feel hopeless to stop this. What man? Izzy asks. Dominic Murphy. I shudder. The man who put everything in motion. The man who was single-handedly responsible for everything that happened to you, Dee, and the man Asher is hunting so that he can make him pay for Coop's murder.
All of their eyes widen. I know Dee knew that he has been researching him, but I don't think anyone besides Maddox and I knew just how deep he was swimming in this shit.
Do you think it's from him? Melissa asks with worry clearly written all over her face. She hands one of her twin daughters, Lindsay, I think, over to Dee, and shifts the other sweetheart onto her shoulder to give her a burp. I look over at Dee, who's doing the same. I have no idea how Melissa has learned to breastfeed both babies at the same time. I meet her eyes and let her see my worry. Maybe if she talks to Greg, he can talk some sense into Asher. I can't imagine anyone else it could be. I don't know anyone here beyond all of y'all, and unless Dee's pissed that I'm no longer working for her, then I can't comprehend who else it could be. It makes sense. Who else would say that? The whole situation is both confusing and terrifying. I can't even leave the apartment without becoming so fearful of my surroundings that I'm teetering on the verge of having a panic attack. And I know my rising anxiety isn't good for the baby, so I haven't left. I stay here day in and day out, praying that everything is going to be okay. You need to talk to Asher, babe. Don't let this fester, Dee whispers. I know she means well, and Lord knows I love her, but I don't keep things from Asher. She and Beck had a crappy start, and I know she's speaking from experience, but my not talking to Asher has nothing to do with avoiding the topic. I haven't been able to get him in the same room with me long enough to have a conversation. I think he believes that by shutting me out completely, he's doing me a favor, but the worry for him is worse than the fear of the unknown. I don't know what I would do if I lost him, if we lost him. I'm going to make sure he talks to me today. I've been trying so hard to stay up and wait for him to come home, but my body always wins the fight, and I'm passed out long before he comes home. I set my alarm on my phone to go off every hour, and I don't care if I have to do it all night. I will be awake when he gets home. If he's asleep when it goes off, I'm going to wake him up and demand answers. Hell yeah! Melissa cheers. If you need anything, promise you'll call? Izzy asks. I'll call, but I won't need anything other than my man to talk to me. She smiles sweetly at me and goes to pull herself off the floor. Her stomach is just now starting to show signs of her pregnancy. I'm going to head home. Nate hasn't been sleeping well at night, so I told Axel that we needed to have an early dinner and get him down before his normal bedtime. I hope that works. You let me know if you need anything, Chelsea. She leans in and gives me a hug. I give Nate a big hug, laughing when he kisses my stomach and warns me to "Biz careful." Such an alpha baby, Dee mumbles. I'm going to head out too, Melissa says. Greg is Cohen down at the office, and last time I let him stay all day, he was up all night fighting the bad guys. I swear one day that boy's going to turn into a carbon copy of Greg. She gathers up the baby's blankets off the floor, stuffs some of her diaper items back in the diaper bag, and snaps both girls into their car carriers. Do you need help down? I ask. Nope, I've got this down to a science now, and like I would let your pregnant ass lift these heavy things. No freaking way. Later, Dee. Chelsea, I'm here if you need me, okay? I nod, standing to give her a hug before walking her to the door. Once I come back to the living room, I don't even waste any time. Well, spit it out, Dee. I know you're over there thinking all sorts of crazy shit. What if this isn't about the letter? What if he's having second thoughts? I hate saying it, Chels. Hell, I hate thinking it. This whole thing is crazy complicated between you, and I just don't want to see you hurt. Maybe the letter is nothing. Maybe he's just... God, I don't know, she sighs. One thing that annoys me about Dee is when she lets her own insecurities about men in general pass on to others. I recognize where she's coming from. You don't just turn that stuff off. A pain that has been a part of you for your whole life, but that doesn't give her a right to place that bullshit on Asher's shoulders. Dee, I warn. I know, I'm sorry, I just worry about you. She shrugs her shoulders and sinks back against the couch. Okay, Dee, I appreciate where you're coming from, but let me tell you right now that if you ever insult the man I love like that again, I won't be responsible for what I do. Her eyes widen, but I keep going. He has done nothing to deserve that shit you just spewed all over the place. He's had a hard time, but you know that any one of us would have felt the same pain he did when Coop died. Yeah, I know how our situation is complicated, but that's just it, Dee. It's our situation. It's brought us together. This baby, this very loved baby of ours, is our miracle. We don't look at it as a complication. I can assure you that he loves this baby because it's part of me. Yes, he loves this baby because he's a part of his brother too, but that by no stretch of the imagination means that he is transferring his feelings for the baby into some confused love. I take a deep breath, never letting my eyes leave her shocked ones. I have never talked to her like this. But I'm not going to stand here in the middle of my own personal shitstorm and let her throw Asher in the bad guy category. We all have that person, Dee. Beck is yours, Axel is Izzy's, Melissa's is Greg, hell, Emmy's is Maddox. Every single one of us. We have that person who makes us complete. He is my person. You have been watching too much Grey's Anatomy, she says under her breath. Dee, did you even fucking hear me? He's my person. He would never doubt our relationship or me. What is complicated to you is our perfect. We took the lemon's life threw at us and started a lemonade-making factory. This love that you're questioning, this love is perfect. My chest is heaving. God, it felt good to get that all out. I won't even lie. When I was on day 5 without seeing him, I let the same doubts filter through my mind until I realized how ridiculous I was being. Asher would never give up on me. I'm sorry, I just worry about you. I worry about you both, but I don't like seeing you hurting. She looks down, clearly ashamed that she let her own handicaps cloud what she knows is right. I'm only hurting because I don't know how to help him. I'm not asking you to borrow trouble. My pain is because I feel powerless to ease his pain, not because he's hurting me. I get it. Just promise me that if you need something, you'll call. Don't sit here and let it fester a second longer. If you miss him again tonight, call me in the morning, and I promise you I will make sure you can corner his ass.
That won't be necessary, Dee,
I hear over my shoulder. The deep rumble of his voice sends shivers racing across my skin.
I can assure you that the only thing she needs right now is...
He pauses and looks over at me, his face unreadable.
Her person.
I melt. Right there, I melt. It all washes away. The last 2 weeks of worry, hurt that he shut me out, and pain that I don't know how to help. All that matters is that he's here now. Got it. "I'll see myself out," she meekly says. I might have said goodbye, but the only thing my mind can comprehend at this moment is that my man is finally here. He isn't avoiding me anymore, and I can finally figure out where his head has been since that ill-fated night we opened that letter.